Daily Detroit is brought to you by the community. Support our work at patreon.com/dailydetroit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Daily Detroit on a very special day, a day that happens only once every 4 years. It is Thursday, February 29th, 2024. We get an extra day, Shianne Noserini. By the way, I'm Jairus Days, across the table from me here at the Daily Detroit studio at Techtown. Shianne Noserini, how are you?
I am great, Jared. How are you?
I'm good. Got to stretch my legs a bit, go around town, see a couple of things. Actually, why don't we start with that? Because I think we're going to try to have a palate cleanser of an episode.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
Things are a little heavy yesterday.
I think so. Yeah.
So let's talk about where you've been, an old Detroit favorite.
I went to the Caucus Club.
This is a place full of history. Now, this is in the bottom of the Penobscot building?
It is in the bottom of the Penobscot, yes.
I've been there a few times, back when I used to work corporate upstairs.
Yes. It's been a long time since I've been to the Caucus Club, but I decided to head over there and check it out.
It's been around for a while, so there isn't much to say.
There isn't much to say, but I will say this. I have been listening to the Barbara Streisand memoir because I finally got it on my Libby app after months of being on the holds list, waiting. I mean, the book came out in November. I just now got it. But in 1961, the Caucus Club was the first place that Barbara Streisand performed at outside of New York City.
That is a fact I did not know.
I didn't
so you're
know
a
it
big
until
Babs
then.
fan.
I am a huge Babs fan. This memoir is quite entertaining, and it is also 48 hours long.
As far as an audiobook goes.
As an audiobook, yes.
I'm so glad you found a Detroit factoid about Barbara Streisand.
Me too.
What else draws you in about her?
What is it about her? You know what? I've always loved the standards. I've always loved Broadway musicals, and I feel like she gets a bad rap. Like, everybody thinks that she's this huge, giant diva, and she can be, and she can be seen as difficult, but also she knows what she likes, and she also is not afraid to tell you what she likes or if she doesn't like something. And I think when women hold that sense of power, men don't like that. And I really think that that's what gave her such a bad rap.
Well, especially at the time.
Mm-hmm. Especially during the time, yes.
Not saying that's gone away.
Right.
But especially at the time. I mean, geez, now that we're talking about the 60s, that is 60 years ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she's been in the business over 60 years, and she has a lot to say, and I am fascinated by it. So if you haven't read it, even if you don't like Barbara Streisand, but you want to learn a little bit more, I highly recommend it. I'm sure the actual physical book is great, but the audiobook, there's music throughout, and she is the narrator.
I love it when audiobooks have the author as narrator.
Me too. You're immersed in her world. It's fascinating. Also, did you know she was married to Elliot Gould?
No. Of course, I'm not a Barbara expert.
No, but I knew this like deep in the recesses of my mind. And then when she started talking about Elliot and meeting Elliot for their first Broadway show together, I was like, wasn't she married to him? And then I like searched it up and I was like, I knew I was right. Anyway, so I've talked enough about Barbara. I'm sorry, you guys, but I've been immersed in this land. But Jer, where have you been?
Well, if you notice, my shirt is ironed, and that's because I am super crisp today. I finally made it over to Super Crisp in Midtown. It's near the studio.
It is.
It's been well reviewed lately, but I'll admit, my palate, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. So what I did is I got the burger, I got the hot chicken sandwich,
right.
I got the kimchi fries, which I'm not normally a kimchi guy, got all this stuff, and then I split it with my roommate who very much is.
Right.
So I had somebody else to talk to. So I will be honest, folks, and you can throw eggs at me. I'm not a kimchi guy.
What is it about kimchi that you don't like?
It's just the heat,
You don't like the fermentation of it?
Yeah. Like, I don't like kombucha.
I don't either. I like the heat of kimchi, but I don't like the fermentation of it. And also, I'm also not a big cabbage person, but I haven't tried. There's also like radish kimchi.
Okay. I think some of this was radish for sure. But the cabbage I'm not against because, well, I am Slovak. So
see, I'm a terrible Slovak, Jared, because I hate cabbage.
So the burger was fine. The chicken sandwich was remarkable.
Was it?
It was quite good. And the kimchi fries, I was down. I got into it after a while. They did a really good job. Everything was executed quick. Everything was hot. Like, walked in, did my pickup and go. I will be back.
You know who else has kimchi fries? Two Hands up in Troy on Big Beaver. It's a Korean corn dog place.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I took my son there this weekend after his basketball game. And they do the like big puffy Instagram corn dogs that you see that sometimes have cheese in it or hot dogs or whatever. And so I took him there because he really likes it there. And they have kimchi fries, but their kimchi fries are just sprinkled with the seasoning. So they're spicy, but they don't have the actual kimchi on them. And those are pretty good. Those are tasty.
Now, I understand there's actually a new Korean market open. I
There
think
is.
it's called Tiger Market
Yes, that's
in
over.
Southfield. Because I know your husband and your kid are very much into that.
Yes, there is a new market. I haven't been yet. I really want to go. Tiger Market. It's on like Northwestern Highway. It's in that.
And like Telegraph, I want to say.
So it's really hard to describe. Okay, so if you're on 696 and you get off to go onto Telegraph and you have that weird curve, and then you get off on Telegraph.
I'm looking at the pictures. This thing is big.
It's huge. I've watched it go up and I didn't know what it was. And then I saw a TikTok about it and I was like, oh my gosh, babe, we got to go here. So it looks really nice inside. I'm looking forward to checking that out. But it's like kind of back behind the Tel 12 shopping center on a side street.
What is it with the West Siders and naming things after the streets? Like Tel 12. I didn't realize this is an East Sider, that Tel 12 meant Telegraph and 12 Mile. Yeah. For Tel, or like these other things I've seen.
Yeah.
I did not realize this. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, this is how the West Side does everything.
Smush it all together. I don't get it.
Whatever street it is, like there was one that was like Moorwick. And I'm like,
what's Moorwick?
Morton View and Wick.
Oh, okay. We just say like 7 Mile in Morass or 8 in Vernier.
Right. That is a core difference between being an East Sider and a West Sider, I think, is the abbreviated places versus the full names.
Yes.
Shianne, I know you and I both like concerts.
We do. Yes.
Look, I think we're inspired to talk about this because it was so warm on Tuesday.
It was so nice on Tuesday.
Kind of looked at the schedules and things. Now, some of this stuff is coming up, but here is the deal. As someone who was looking for tickets for stuff, for Pine Knob and other places for things, stuff is hopping off the shelves.
Yep.
Like this thing about going out. I think people are going out less, but when they do go out, they're going out big. And they want to do the concert. They want to go out to the thing that really feels worth it. And I feel like that concert thing is the way, like, I guess I was told like Alanis Morissette tickets are now like on resale into the hundreds.
I wouldn't be surprised about that at all.
Isn't that ironic?
What caught my attention, Jer, is they announced that Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. I almost put a Cougar in there, Jer.
Is it? Okay. I've never known the difference. What?
First it was John Cougar, and then it was John Cougar Mellencamp, and then it was just John Mellencamp. So he like dropped the Cougar. I don't know why there was a Cougar in there.
This was before Prince changed his name, or was it?
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I think it was like a stage name kind of thing.
Okay.
And like probably his producer or his manager was like, you should change your name to like John Cougar to make it like flashy. I don't know the whole history behind it anyway, but he's just John Mellencamp now and has been for almost 30
Just as
years.
long as he didn't change his name to John Cougar Hunter.
Anyway, Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp are coming to Pine Knob in September.
Are they all playing together?
They are all playing together.
Okay, I think that's great. You know why? Unpopular opinion, I don't really love Bob Dylan in concert.
I've never seen Bob Dylan in concert, but I know he's terrible in concert, and I know this, but also he's Bob Dylan, and I think I need to see him just for posterity because...
So you get a Dylan sampling.
I love Bob Dylan. I also know how he sings live, but...
You want to see it.
I need to see it.
Okay.
Right? And so like Willie Nelson is also on my list. I know I talked about this last year when we talked about the upcoming summer concerts, and I didn't make it out. And Willie's getting up there, and I missed Gordon Lightfoot, and I am kicking myself every
so you need
single
to go to
day.
Willie.
I need to see Willie, and I need to see Bob Dylan. I like John Mellencamp, so it's just like a happy bonus. Tickets go on sale for that tomorrow on Friday, and I know that.
Are you going to be like in line digitally?
I'm gonna. I want to be. I need to be. Also, the other one that's on my list that's coming up in May, Neil Young and Crazy Horse is coming.
Are you secretly 60 years old?
Jer, I'm reading the biography of Barbara Streisand.
And I know that you also have. All right, listeners, let's out Shianne here with something.
What?
Your John Denver record collection.
I love John Denver too. I just said I love Gordon Lightfoot too. I also love Joni Mitchell. Like if Joni Mitchell were to tour, I would see Joni Mitchell and Joan Baez.
But music is something special, especially that singer-songwriter stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That is why that Tracy Chapman and Luke Combs thing with Fast Car, to tears.
Oh, of course.
To tears over it. Yeah, it's going to be quite a summer of music. I will mention that on Wednesday, Movement released their full, now this is shifting gears, but Movement has released their full lineup, which they had done some teases, Idris Elba's coming to town, all that other stuff. Couple of local artists I want to make sure you know about. I listen to Terrence Parker quite a bit. If you're into house music, there's a track called Love's Got Me High. Could be a cool one to check out. Stacey Hot Wax Hale, who we've had on this very podcast.
She's amazing.
Oh my gosh. And her purple bicycle.
Yes.
Holy. Anyway, I think it's going to be a good one this year. I'm hoping to get some artists on actually ahead of Movement. I think even though, and I'm sad about this because I'm going to have to miss Terrence's set and miss Fatboy Slim because I'm going to be on the road.
Right. We will
on
be.
Monday to Mackinac.
Yep, we will be.
For the Mackinac Policy Conference. I think I'm going to stop in either Saturday or Sunday and get into it, or both, because I'm excited about Movement. I just can't stay out too late on Sunday.
No, you can't.
Everybody else gets that day off.
Yeah.
But that's the travel day to go up to Mackinac for the policy conference for us, because we are a podcast that both talks beats
and policy.
And policy.
Because I love both beats and policy.
This is an inside joke, people, if you didn't know. So years ago, we did a segment with Detroit Public Television. It was like a promo thing, and you got interviewed. And there was just this clip, and you can reenact it for us.
I just love policy. That's all I said. I don't know.
And that's all they put in, and it was like a highlight reel.
That was the only thing they took from the entire interview with me, was just, I love policy.
The Broadway in Detroit theater schedule is out. Now, that is down the line a little bit farther.
Yes.
But I want to make a couple of highlights before everything kind of gets started with that, because there are some shows that I have seen, not in Detroit, but in New York.
Yes.
One of them specifically I want to call out, and it is a deep one. It is a tough one. This is not a palate cleanser.
No.
But it is an excellent story, Parade.
Yes.
I saw that in New York with Ben Platt and Michaela Diamond. They're not, obviously, I don't think they're going to be part of the touring thing.
Probably not.
And remember, with touring, it's so hard. If you've seen the actual show, they're both the actual show, but it's really hard with different performances. Even when I see Off-Broadway in another city, you have to give each performer their space to interpret the role.
Yes.
But Parade, look, you're not going to come out smiling. You're not. As I was leaving, there were some young people who were leaving when I thought musicals were supposed to be happy. And this is not that. This is a story about Jewish persecution, which is doubly interesting to me, as I recently found out that I am ethnically Jewish. I was not raised that way, but I am an ethnic Jew, and I did not know that. There were rumors in the family.
There were rumors,
but the rumors turned out to be true, and I'll do a whole episode on that sometime. That doesn't really change how I personally see the world, but it is interesting to know that. But yeah, Parade is a thing. The Wiz.
Jer, look at me. Look me in the eyes.
Look at me looking at you.
I will be seeing The Wiz.
Yes, you will. You'll be seeing The Wiz. And you will also be seeing A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical.
All right. But can I see Kimberly Akimbo? You can have the Michael Jackson musical and Some Like It Hot, but I'll take Moulin Rouge.
We have a super fan whose wife loves Michael Jackson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's coming up. Also, if you are interested as far as the classical music stuff, the DSO, Detroit Symphony Orchestra, the schedule is out. A lot of that's a little bit farther down the line, but if you're into that kind of thing, that schedule is out.
Can I just say, I have two things for you. One, they will be performing Holst's The Planets, which is one of my favorite symphonies.
Is this show turning into that SNL skit of the women and the muffins and Alec Baldwin?
I feel like maybe. And then also they will be performing some Leonard Bernstein dance symphonies. And I could go on. If I've already talked 5 minutes about Barbara Streisand, I will not go on to talk about my love of Leonard Bernstein. But just know it will be a wonderful season for the DSO.
I'm sure it will be. And every year we try to have somebody on from the DSO to talk about the season. And I'll say this, we are working on our new website and relaunching our newsletter, which has been growing like leaps and bounds.
Yes.
Engineer Randy has been working very hard behind the scenes. You have seen a sneak peek of the new website.
I have. It's beautiful. I can't wait.
It's actually good looking.
It is. I feel like we've gone from like high school and we've entered into college or postgraduate.
Well, there was a joke going around that, since, websites and media are dying, that The Verge was the last website on Earth because it's a tech website that's managed to keep people around for 8 minutes and whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think maybe Daily Detroit will be the last website in Detroit.
Maybe. We'll see.
I don't think so. I think there's a lot more going on than that, but it's something we're proud of. But part of that is with more newsletters, more regular events coverage, because that's something a lot of people have wanted. Not just the mainstream stuff, but stuff, kind of off the beaten path. Like just down the road, there's the Detroit Public Theater.
Yes.
Which has some very cool stuff.
Shakespeare in Detroit.
We've had her on the show.
Yeah.
Try to highlight some things that, of course, if you're into that stuff. But I also believe kind of like if you're really into Neil Diamond, Neil Diamond's coming.
Yeah.
But I want to take that knowledge, but also take it to another level of interesting creatives, cool stuff, because that's part of what makes a city worth living to me.
It is. Art shows.
And not just in the city.
Yeah.
So if you've got stuff, dailydetroit@gmail.com, we can do things like throw out a link here and there and kind of grow that stuff out. But anyway, Shianne O'Serini, so good to check in with you.
It's great to check in with you too, Jer.
It has been a fun chat here at the Daily Detroit studio at Techtown. As always, we are supported by our members, patreon.com/dailydetroit. Feedback, dailydetroit@gmail.com. With that, I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Shianne O'Serini.
Thank you so much for listening. Remember that you are somebody, and we'll talk tomorrow.